everybody. How are you doing? As you can see, I have recently moved. I tend to move about once every 2 years or so, it seems. You'll have to excuse the discombobulation. I'm actually, like, this is the office, and that's the other room over there. So, if I seem a little bit washed out as far as the light is concerned and all of that, you know, we're working on it. We're working on it. It'll all be better, especially in time for your weekly horoscopes, which I hope to have coming out here within, you know, the next day or two. What is the topic of this video? Well, as a lot of you are probably well aware, the internet, of course, is just awash right now, or just, you know, tsunamied with a lot of political and spiritual discussion, given the climate of what's going on, especially here in the United States. You know, I've seen some things posted by all types of leaders and leaders in the political community, the mental health community, the spiritual community, and all over the place. And it's kind of brought up a topic that I've been really kind of looking at a lot lately. If you are subscribed to my personal channel, my vlog channel, Scarlet Moon Magic, you'll recall, I think in the last couple of weeks, I posted a video on the topic of splitting. Which is actually a behavior that is not just reserved to, like, a certain type of personality disorder. Or it's a psychological behavior that a lot of people do. You don't even have to be diagnosed with anything to accidentally split. What splitting is basically, it's almost like an impairment that can kind of happen, where a person can no longer see in color, but only in black and white. Okay? And that seems to be a lot of what has been going on in our, you know, political climate and in our spiritual climate. And I'm always, you know, just taken aback when it comes to people who do have influence in whatever community they're in, encouraging that kind of behavior, going into black and white, patronizing, and I guess you could say enabling, and even inflaming the emotional, social, and psychological fears that are in their people. And I think that it's always up to us, you know, who are the viewers, the readership, the audience, to check the people we resonate with every once in a while. And of course, this also applies to whoever you resonate with when it comes to a political situation or a political climate such as this. Because whatever we resonate with, whether we want to or not, we also resonate with the bad as well as the good. Be careful of splitting, because I can see a lot of splitting going on in the online community and in the spiritual community. And a lot of splitting where if it's not 100% something, then it might as well be 100% something else. And I want to talk a little bit about why people do that. And a lot of it has to do with a sense of fear and insecurity and the need to kind of live in a maintained, controlled, and sometimes very conformist kind of environment. And it's not for the sake of oppression and control. A lot of people split because they're trying to gain a sense of stability. There's no red, blue, green, or yellow. There's no orange, there's no indigo, there's no purple, there's just black, there's white, and maybe a bit of gray, you know, if they're working on it. And if you're ever in a situation where you notice that maybe a political figure or a spiritual figure is encouraging something unhealthy, like splitting, that resonance with that person needs to be checked. And the healthiest thing we can do is check our resonances. Because again, we never know. Maybe this is something that's an opportunity for healing and gaining understanding. A lot of people are gaining ground and gaining a lot of, I guess you could say, respect or a lot of power, because a lot of people are losing trust in information. Why shouldn't they? A lot of people have perfectly good reasons to not trust information that is coming at them from all angles. We are bombarded with with information, and we can't really tell what is true and what is false anymore. Just because somebody is dumbing information down in such a way that it doesn't prompt us to do our own investigating, it kind of doesn't really help. A lot of people split in that way. This is too complicated, therefore I must be being manipulated. This is simple, therefore it must be good. Not always. It's kind of like when you think about spiritual people who are not actually doing more than using the same phrases over and over again. We're talking about change, vibration. We're talking about feelings and intensity and energy. But all of that is impressionistic garbage if there is no one actually willing to step up and make a statement of what they are breaking down. Knowing full well what buttons to push, some people are gaining ground. And again, whichever side you're on, whatever you resonate with, I urge you during these very split, very polarized, very dualistic, before you split, check your resonance. Check your resonance, whether it's political resonance, scientific resonance, spiritual resonance. Check it now. Who is wanting you and encouraging you to see in color and grow? And who, very similar to Big Pharma, may actually be patronizing you and enabling you to stay in the same behavioral patterns, making you feel empowered for being unwell to keep you. It happens. And the world gets smaller, and it's harder to find people to love, and it's harder to find people to trust, and it's harder to find leaders to believe in. So when we talk about people needing to wake up, I think that plenty of people have woken up. I think a lot of people just haven't really bothered to get out of bed. And it's time to get out of bed. Check your resonances during these kinds of times. Don't let yourself believe that people who really care about you would encourage you to take self-destructive philosophies and self-destructive behaviors and call them empowerment. If somebody told me that smoking was a personal expression of myself and I have nothing to apologize for, and that I should be proud of the fact that I'm a smoker, of course this is a very extreme example, I would check that right away. And the same thing would go if a person was trying to empower poor relationship decisions of mine. We have to look at this in the personal development and spiritual communities. We have to not just wake up, but get out of bed. All right? So that's just my thoughts on, what's going on right now, guys. And I hope that you're doing well, and I will come back later on this week with your horoscopes.